Oogie. Oogie is characterized by its unique evolutionary potential, which allows it to adapt and change rapidly within its environment. This adaptability is a significant theme in Spore creatures, where players explore the mechanics of evolution and survival. Oogie has no offensive capabilities, indicating it may rely on other strategies for survival or interaction. Oogie lacks defensive mechanisms, suggesting it might avoid confrontations or depend on social skills. This relatively low social score indicates that while Oogie can interact with others, it may not be particularly charismatic or influential in group dynamics. A high metabolism score suggests that Oogie requires significant energy intake to sustain its rapid evolutionary processes. With no sight capabilities, Oogie may rely on other senses or environmental cues for navigation and interaction. This attribute indicates that Oogie does not have any special abilities to replenish energy quickly, which could impact its survival strategy. This stat suggests that Oogie lacks any critical hit abilities in gameplay mechanics. Being classified as having no dietary needs could imply that Oogie absorbs energy or nutrients in a unique manner compared to other creatures. Oogie is found in First Topti, which are likely designed environments within the game that reflect different ecological zones where various creatures thrive. The description stating that Oogies are said to be the link between creatures and sporelings highlights their role in the game's narrative around evolution. The concept of a creature like Oogie acting as a transitional form underscores the game's exploration of biological diversity and adaptation. Tap-tup. Tap-tups are described as friendly creatures found in First Topti within the Spore creatures universe. Their balanced attributes suggest that they are versatile beings capable of engaging in both social interactions and defensive behaviors. Tap-tups possess a moderate attack capability, allowing them to defend themselves against threats like strictlets. This means they can engage in combat if necessary, but are not primarily aggressive. With equal defense capabilities, tap-tups can withstand some attacks while maintaining their peaceful nature. This balance allows them to survive in their environment without being overly combative. Their social score indicates a reasonable ability to interact with other creatures, which is essential for forming alliances or navigating social dynamics in the game. A higher metabolism score suggests that tap-tups can efficiently gather energy and resources from their omnivorous diet. This trait likely aids in their survival and adaptability across various environments. The lack of scores in these areas indicates that tap-tups may not rely on sight for navigation or have significant energy regeneration capabilities. They might depend on other senses or strategies to thrive. As omnivores, tap-tups can consume a variety of food sources, which further enhances their adaptability in different environments. Their presence in fields across the islands suggests they thrive in open spaces where they can forage for food. Tap-tups' relatively peaceful existence contrasts with their occasional clashes with strictlets, highlighting a dynamic ecosystem where competition and cooperation coexist. Strictlet. The strictlet is categorized as a dangerous creature within the Spore universe, particularly noted for its characteristics and behaviors. This value indicates that the strictlet can inflict moderate damage on other creatures. While it may not be the most powerful creature in the game, it poses a threat to weaker or less developed players. With a defense rating of 5, the strictlet can withstand some attacks, but it is still vulnerable to stronger opponents. This makes it essential for players to strategize when engaging with them. This score suggests that strictlets can interact with other creatures to some extent. This social behavior might manifest in territorial displays or in forming groups when threatened. A high metabolism score indicates that strictlets have a fast energy consumption rate, which can affect their stamina during encounters. Players should be aware that creatures with high metabolism may need to find food more frequently. The strictlet's lack of sight means it relies on other senses for navigation and hunting. This could influence how players approach them, potentially allowing stealthier tactics. These values suggest that the Strictlet does not have special energy regeneration abilities or critical hit capabilities, making it less formidable compared to other creatures with such advantages. As omnivores, Strictlets consume both plant and animal matter, which adds to their adaptability in various environments within the game. Found in First in Topti, players must be cautious when exploring this area as they might encounter multiple Strictlets. The description provided for the Strictlet highlights an important gameplay mechanic, growth, and progression. As players develop their own creatures and enhance their abilities, they will find that initially dangerous creatures like the Strictlet become less threatening over time. This dynamic encourages exploration and experimentation within the game's ecosystem. Babop. The Babop is an intriguing example of a balanced creature in Spore creatures, showcasing a unique blend of physical strength and social adaptability. With an attack and defense score of 8, it exemplifies a creature well-equipped for survival in its environment. This duality allows the Babop to fend off threats while also engaging in cooperative behaviors that enhance its chances of survival. The equal scores in attack and defense suggest that the Babop is designed for resilience rather than aggression. This could be indicative of an evolutionary strategy where defense against predators like the Strictlet is just as important as the ability to attack when necessary. With a social score of 7, the Babop demonstrates a proclivity for forming groups. Social structures in animal species often lead to increased survival rates through cooperative foraging and mutual protection. Such behavior can also foster complex interactions with other species within their ecosystem. The metabolism score of 3 indicates a relatively low energy requirement compared to other species. Coupled with an energy refresh rate of 11, this suggests that Babops can sustain themselves effectively without requiring constant food intake, allowing them more time for social interaction and territory maintenance. As omnivores, Babops have a flexible diet that enables them to exploit various food sources, which can be advantageous in changing environmental conditions. As environments change due to natural factors or human impact in a broader ecological context, species that are less adaptable may struggle to survive. The mention of competition with more aggressive species suggests that while Babops were strong, they may not have been equipped to contend with more dominant predators or competitors for resources. Meeper. The Meeper is characterized as a bird-like creature with specific attributes that influence its role within the game. This relatively moderate attack value suggests that while the Meeper can defend itself or engage in combat, it is not primarily an aggressive creature. Its role may lean more towards support or social interaction rather than offense. With a defense score of 10, the Meeper can withstand some level of attack, but is not heavily armored. This indicates that players should be cautious when using the Meeper in hostile environments. The high social score indicates that Meepers are likely to excel in interactions with other creatures, making them suitable for forming alliances or navigating social challenges within the game. A high metabolism score suggests that Meepers have a good capacity for energy consumption and recovery, which can be beneficial for sustaining their activities over time. These scores imply that Meepers lack visual perception and do not have an energy refresh mechanism. This could affect their ability to navigate environments or escape threats effectively. A critical score of 0 means that Meepers do not have enhanced attack capabilities or critical hits, reinforcing their role as non-aggressive creatures. As herbivores, Meepers rely on plant matter for sustenance. This dietary preference aligns with their peaceful nature and social tendencies. This ability allows the Meeper to restore some health, making it a valuable asset in team play or when managing health during exploration. Healing powers can significantly impact gameplay strategy, especially in prolonged encounters or missions. Knowing where Meepers can be found helps players plan their exploration routes effectively. The description highlights the endearing nature of Meepers and their peculiar response to human calls. This adds personality to the creature, enhancing player engagement through interaction. Kimpoko. The Kimpoko is characterized as a small, four-legged herbivorous creature with specific attributes that define its behavior and ecological role. This relatively low attack value suggests that while Kimpokos can defend themselves, they are not primarily aggressive creatures. Their social behavior and interactions likely take precedence over combat. With a modest defense score, Kimpokos are somewhat resilient to threats, but are not heavily armored or equipped for prolonged confrontations. This score indicates that Kimpokos have a strong social structure or behavior. They likely interact positively with other creatures, possibly forming bonds or groups. A high metabolism value suggests that Kimpokos require significant energy intake, which aligns with their herbivorous diet. This could imply they need to consume a variety of plant materials to sustain their energy levels. The zero sight value indicates that Kimpokos may rely on other senses such as smell or hearing to navigate their environment, making them more dependent on social cues and interactions than visual stimuli. This implies that Kimpokos do not regenerate energy through rest or inactivity, further emphasizing their need for constant foraging and feeding. The absence of critical hits in their attacks reinforces their non-aggressive nature. They may not be designed for offensive capabilities, but instead focus on survival through social interaction and community support. Kimpokos inhabit the region known as Trunkle in the jungle of Topti. Their description as guardians of the cave to Nudlin suggests they hold a special status among other creatures like the Meepers and Supupi. This role could indicate a protective or nurturing aspect within their ecosystem, where they contribute to maintaining harmony among various species. Their preference for peace and recreational racing indicates a playful nature, reflecting how game designers create engaging environments where creatures exhibit personality traits beyond mere survival instincts. This aspect enhances player engagement by allowing users to observe and interact with diverse behaviors within the game's ecology. Supupi. The Supupi is classified as a fearsome creature within the Spore Creatures game, recognized for its formidable stats and aggressive behavior. This high attack value indicates that the Supupi can inflict significant damage on opponents, making it a strong contender in battles. While not exceptionally high, this defense rating allows the Supupi to withstand some attacks, though it may need to rely on its offensive capabilities. A high social score suggests that the Supupi can engage effectively with other creatures, potentially influencing social dynamics within its environment. This high metabolism score indicates a robust energy management system, allowing the Supupi to sustain itself effectively during extended encounters. The lack of sight suggests that the Supupi relies more on other senses or instincts rather than visual cues, which could impact its interaction with other creatures or players. The zero energy refresh indicates limited capability for quick recovery or regeneration during battles. This means it does not have critical hits in its attack repertoire, which may limit its damage potential in crucial moments. As a carnivore, the Supupi is predatory in nature and will likely hunt other creatures for sustenance. Its biopower, Flame Jet, it to unleash a stream of fire that targets nearby opponents automatically. The advantage of being able to move while attacking makes it a highly versatile option in combat scenarios. Players can use this to maintain mobility while dealing damage to close-range threats. The Supupi is found in Trunkle within the jungle of Topti. Its territorial nature means that once it establishes a home base, it becomes very protective of that area. Players should approach with caution. If they wish to relocate or interact with a Supupi in its territory, they may need to utilize strategies involving force or intimidation. Shadok. The Shadok serves as an intriguing example of a predatory species within the fictional ecosystem of Spore Creatures. As a carnivore, the Shadok likely occupies a top-tier position in its food chain, preying on smaller creatures within its habitat, Trunkle in the jungle of Topti. Its high attack stat suggests it can effectively hunt and defend itself against potential threats. The social skill rating of 17 indicates that Shadoks engage in complex social behaviors. Their ability to communicate through growls and body language suggests a rich social hierarchy, possibly involving cooperative hunting or territory defense among members of their species. The use of distinctive scents for marking territory not only highlights their social complexity, but also emphasizes their role in maintaining ecological balance. Territorial behaviors can prevent overpopulation and ensure that resources are available for all species within their environment. The description of the Shadok as having sleek, muscular limbs and sharp claws reflects its adaptation for both speed and agility, traits essential for a predator. The vibrant scales serve a dual purpose, providing camouflage within its natural habitat and perhaps playing a role in communication or mating displays. In terms of lore, the Shadok is depicted as both revered and feared, which underscores its status as a powerful symbol within the ecosystem. This duality can reflect broader themes found in nature, where predators are often viewed with awe due to their strength and prowess, yet feared for their lethal capabilities. The reverence shown by other creatures towards the Shadok can symbolize respect for nature's raw power and the delicate balance that exists between different species. Bushly. The bushly is classified as a timid herbivorous creature found in the Nudland area of Topti within spore creatures. Its attributes reflect a specific play style and role within the game's ecosystem. This score indicates that while bushlies can defend themselves, they are not primarily offensive creatures. They might struggle against more aggressive species. A moderate defense score suggests they can withstand some attacks, but should avoid confrontations with stronger predators. With a relatively high social score, bushlies may benefit from forming larger packs for protection and cooperation, enhancing their survival through social interactions. This high metabolism rate implies that bushlies require a significant amount of food to sustain their energy levels, making them reliant on abundant plant life in their habitat. A low sight score suggests limited visual acuity, meaning they might be vulnerable to ambush predators. These scores indicate that bushlies do not have special abilities related to energy regeneration or critical hits, further emphasizing their passive nature. Their immunity to thorns allows them to thrive in environments where other creatures might be harmed by thorny plants. Leverage the social attribute by keeping bushlies in groups to deter predators. Their collective presence can provide safety in numbers. Since they are herbivores with high metabolism, players should ensure they have access to ample vegetation for feeding. Exploring areas rich in plants will be essential. Engage in defensive strategies rather than aggressive ones. Steer clear of known predator territories to minimize risks. The characterization of bushlies as timid creatures resonates with certain ecological concepts where prey species often evolve traits that favor survival through avoidance rather than confrontation. In gaming contexts, this can reflect broader themes of strategy and adaptation within ecosystems. Jungu. The jungu is depicted as a tall, imposing herbivore with a unique combination of stats and abilities that define its gameplay mechanics. The jungu's attack capability allows it to deal considerable damage to opponents. However, its defense suggests it may not be able to withstand prolonged engagements against stronger adversaries without strategic play. A high social score implies that jungus can engage positively with other creatures, making them valuable allies in multiplayer or cooperative scenarios. This attribute could be leveraged to form packs or gain protection from predators. A metabolism score of 56 indicates that the jungu has a relatively high energy consumption rate, which means it may need to feed frequently to maintain its health and energy levels during exploration or combat. As an herbivore, the jungu relies on plant-based resources for sustenance. This can influence its habitat choices and interactions with other species in the ecosystem. This ability, the leaf flurry, creates a spinning ring that damages opponents who enter it. The fact that the user can still move and attack while this ability is active provides a strategic advantage in battles, allowing for offensive maneuvers while maintaining a defensive perimeter. Immunity to thorns indicates that jungus can traverse environments filled with thorny plants without taking damage. This trait enhances its survivability in certain terrains and could be crucial during exploration phases. The specific location where June gus can be found adds context to its habitat preferences and potential interactions with local fauna and flora. The description emphasizes both the imposing nature of June gus and its duality as a peaceful creature that can become fierce when provoked. This characteristic aligns with many gameplay elements where players must balance aggression and diplomacy. Whipley. The Whipley serves as an intriguing example of a creature that embodies aggression and territoriality within its ecosystem. The Whipley's high attack score indicates its capacity to inflict significant damage on opponents. This makes it a formidable presence in its environment, especially against less aggressive species. While not as robust in defense compared to its attack capabilities, a defense score of 16 still provides it with reasonable protection against attacks from other creatures. With a high social score, Whipleys likely engage in complex interactions with one another and possibly coordinate their aggression against intruders. This social behavior can be crucial for maintaining territory and deterring rival species. A metabolism score of 52 suggests that Whipleys require a substantial amount of energy to sustain their activities. This may indicate that they have higher food needs or are more active than other creatures. The low sight score implies that Whipleys may rely less on vision for navigation or hunting, potentially using other senses to detect threats or opportunities in their environment. An energy refresh rate of 0 indicates that Whipleys do not regain energy over time without consuming food. This aspect can impact their long-term survival strategy and territorial behavior. The lack of a critical ability means that Whipleys do not have enhanced chances for critical hits during combat, making their attacks consistent but not exceptionally powerful in bursts. As herbivores, Whipleys primarily consume plant material. Their dietary needs influence their territory management, since they must ensure access to sufficient vegetation. The Nudlin region within the forest of Topti serves as their habitat, suggesting specific environmental factors that support their lifestyle and territorial nature. The description characterizing Whipleys as sly, assertive, and aggressive aligns with their role as dominant creatures within their territory. Their behavior reflects an evolutionary strategy designed to protect resources from potential competitors, primarily the bushlies mentioned. Such interactions highlight themes of competition and survival inherent in many ecosystems. Ohi. The Ohi is depicted as a fascinating and multifaceted creature that embodies several key traits relevant to its survival and role in the ecosystem of spore creatures. This indicates that the Ohi is a formidable predator capable of defending itself against threats while also effectively hunting prey. A high defense score suggests that it has evolved adaptations to protect itself from larger predators or environmental hazards. This suggests a degree of social interaction or complexity in behavior, possibly indicating that the Ohi may engage in group behaviors or exhibit social hierarchies. Robust metabolism allows the Ohi to efficiently process energy from its carnivorous diet, which is essential for sustaining its activities. A low sight score implies that the Ohi may rely more on other senses for hunting and navigation, perhaps compensating with heightened senses such as smell or hearing. This indicates how quickly the Ohi can regain energy after exertion, which is critical for both hunting and evading predators. As a carnivore, the Ohi occupies a significant position in the food chain. Its ability to hunt smaller prey suggests that it plays a vital role in controlling prey populations and maintaining ecological balance. The description highlights its adaptability to both terrestrial and aquatic environments. This versatility not only enhances its survival prospects, but also allows it to exploit various niches within its habitat. The Ohi's location in Nudlin, the forest of Topti, particularly near deep waters, indicates a preference for environments rich in biodiversity. This setting would provide ample opportunities for foraging and hunting, with an elongated neck enabling access to high vegetation and aquatic prey. The O he exemplifies an evolutionary strategy that maximizes resource availability. This adaptation allows it to thrive in diverse conditions by exploiting multiple food sources. Scuzzalope. This creature is characterized as a desert-dwelling herbivore with unique physical traits and abilities. The scuzzalope is an interesting example of creature design in Spore creatures, showcasing various gameplay mechanics through its statistics and abilities. This moderate attack value indicates that while the scuzzalope can defend itself, it is not primarily a predator. With a defense score of 20, it can withstand some damage, but is vulnerable compared to more aggressive species. The lack of critical hit capability suggests that the scuzzalope relies on consistent damage output rather than high-risk attacks. This score implies that scuzzalopes have a decent level of social interaction, likely engaging with other creatures in their environment, which could influence their survival and reproductive strategies. A higher metabolism rate indicates that scuzzalopes require more resources to sustain themselves, which is typical for larger herbivores. This score suggests that the creature does not regain energy passively, indicating it may need to consume food regularly to maintain its health and activity levels. A low sight score implies limited visual acuity, which could affect its ability to navigate its environment or detect predators. The scuzzalope's immunity to desert sands allows it to thrive in arid environments where many other species may struggle. As a herbivore, the scuzzalope's diet consists exclusively of plant material. This dietary specialization influences its role in the ecosystem as a primary consumer. Its biopower, heal, allows it to restore health, which enhances its survivability during encounters with predators or environmental hazards. The description provided, tall, proud, forgetful, paints a vivid picture of the scuzzalope's personality traits. Being described as forgetful may suggest that they can be easily distracted or may overlook dangers in their environment, which could be a gameplay mechanic that encourages players to strategize around protecting these creatures. Macroneer. The macroneer is an intriguing carnivorous creature characterized by its distinct traits that influence both its combat effectiveness and social interactions in Spore creatures. This score indicates that the macroneer has a moderate offensive capability, allowing it to deal a decent amount of damage to opponents. With a defense rating of 21, the macroneer can withstand some attacks, but may be vulnerable against stronger adversaries. This score suggests that while the macroneer may appear suspicious, it possesses a reasonable level of social interaction ability. This can affect how it interacts with other creatures in the environment, potentially influencing alliances or conflicts. A high metabolism score means that the macroneer likely has an efficient energy system, enabling it to sustain itself well in various environments and possibly recover quickly from activities. The absence of sight indicates that the macroneer may rely on other senses to navigate its surroundings, which could affect its hunting strategies or encounters with other creatures. These scores suggest that the macroneer does not have any inherent abilities for quick energy recovery or critical hits, indicating a straightforward combat style without special enhancements. The macroneer's biopower, which involves a stun mechanism, is particularly noteworthy. When activated, it creates a visual effect of yellow stars that temporarily incapacitate opponents by preventing them from attacking. However, they retain mobility and defensive capabilities during this time. This ability can be strategically advantageous during battles or when trying to escape from predators or engage other creatures without direct confrontation. Found in Zager within the desert of Topti region, the macroneer adds to the biodiversity of this area. Its description hints at an endearing yet misunderstood nature. Creatures often perceive it as slow-witted, which may affect its social standing among others. Microlope. The microlope is an intriguing creature designed for survival in harsh desert environments, characterized by its distinctive features and behavioral traits. This relatively high attack value indicates that the microlope is capable of engaging effectively in combat. This makes it a formidable predator within its ecosystem, allowing it to compete for food against other carnivores. While not excessively high, this defense score suggests that the microlope can withstand some attacks from other creatures. Its ability to survive encounters is crucial for its nomadic lifestyle in a desert setting. The social score points to a strong capacity for interaction with other creatures. This could imply that microlopes may form packs or groups, enhancing their ability to hunt and protect one another in a challenging environment. A high metabolism indicates that the microlope requires significant energy intake, which aligns with its carnivorous diet. This trait suggests that it must be efficient in hunting and consuming prey to sustain itself in the nutrient-scarce desert. The low sight score implies limited visual acuity, which may affect its hunting strategies. It likely relies on other senses or group dynamics to locate prey. These values suggest that the microlope does not have special abilities related to energy regeneration or critical strikes during combat, making strategic planning essential when using this creature in gameplay. As a carnivore, the microlope preys on other creatures. Its role as a predator is vital for maintaining ecological balance within its habitat. This immunity allows the microlope to thrive without adverse effects in desert environments, making it uniquely adapted to this biome. Microlope's design reflects a balance of strengths and weaknesses that players must navigate strategically. For instance, while it excels in attack and social capabilities, players should be mindful of its low sight range when planning hunts or avoiding threats. Wabik. The Wabik is a fascinating example of creative design in video game ecology, showcasing how fictional species can be constructed with complex traits that mimic real-world evolutionary principles. These stats indicate that the Wabik is relatively balanced in terms of offensive and defensive capabilities. With a higher defense score, it may rely on protective strategies rather than outright aggression. A strong social score suggests that the Wabik likely engages in complex interactions with other creatures, possibly forming groups or cooperative behaviors for foraging or protection. This reflects a moderate metabolic rate, indicating that while the Wabik can sustain itself on various food sources, it may not require excessive amounts to thrive. A lower sight score could imply that while it has some visual acuity, it may rely more on other senses or behaviors for survival. As an omnivore, the Wabik's ability to consume both plant and animal matter allows it to adapt to fluctuating food availability in its environment. This dietary flexibility is crucial for survival in arid landscapes where resources can be scarce. The Zager region in the desert of Topti appears to provide a challenging environment where such adaptive traits would be beneficial. Understanding this habitat's climate and resources could provide insights into how the Wabik evolved these specific characteristics. The design of creatures like the Wabik reflects broader themes in game design and ecological simulation. By incorporating diverse traits and stats, developers create immersive experiences that encourage players to think critically about adaptation and survival strategies within an ecosystem. Tacto. Tacto is characterized as a highly aggressive carnivore with a robust set of attributes that make it formidable in its lava-filled habitat, Boltectos. This high attack value indicates that Tacto is capable of dealing significant damage to opponents. Players should be cautious when engaging with or near this creature. While not exceptionally high, this defense score suggests that Tacto can withstand some level of damage, making it resilient in confrontations. This score indicates that Tacto can engage in social interactions, which may include forming alliances or territorial disputes with other creatures. Its aggressive nature suggests that it may not be inclined to form friendships easily. A high metabolism score implies that Tacto has a good energy recovery rate, allowing it to sustain prolonged activity. This could mean that players need to manage their encounters with Tacto carefully, as it can remain active longer than less metabolically efficient creatures. This relatively low sight score means that Tacto may not be able to detect players or other creatures from great distances. Stealthy approaches might be effective when dealing with this creature. As a carnivore, Tacto requires meat to sustain itself, which could influence player strategies regarding food sources and hunting dynamics. These scores suggest that Tacto does not have special energy replenishment or critical hit capabilities, focusing instead on its flame jet ability. This powerful ability allows Tacto to unleash a continuous stream of fire at close-range opponents while remaining mobile. This presents a unique challenge for players who must avoid getting too close while trying to engage or escape. The hot and lava-filled environment is not only thematic, but also suggests hazards that players must navigate carefully when encountering Tacto. Tacto's design reflects common themes found in many video games where creatures are defined by distinct roles, aggressors versus defensively minded entities. Understanding these dynamics enriches gameplay experience by encouraging players to develop adaptive strategies based on creature behavior and environment. Sweezel. The Sweezel represents a unique blend of characteristics within the Spore creature's ecosystem. As a peaceful and sociable bipedal omnivore, it exhibits a fascinating balance between offensive and defensive capabilities while emphasizing social interaction. The Sweezel has a moderate attack value of 33, indicating that it can defend itself if necessary, but is not primarily aggressive. Its defense score of 23 suggests that while it can withstand some attacks, it is relatively vulnerable compared to more combative creatures in the game. With a high social score of 36, Sweezels thrive in communal environments. This characteristic allows them to form close-knit packs, enhancing their survival through cooperative behaviors such as resource sharing and protection against predators. A metabolism score of 80 indicates that Sweezels have a relatively high energy consumption rate, which may require them to forage frequently for food within their lava-filled habitat. The low sight score of 17 suggests that Sweezels may rely more on social interactions and communication rather than keen vision to navigate their environment. As omnivores, Sweezels have a versatile diet that allows them to consume both plant and animal matter. This adaptability is crucial for survival in the harsh conditions of Boltectos. Residing in Boltectos, an extremely hot and lava-filled environment, Sweezels demonstrate resilience and adaptability. This habitat choice highlights their ability to thrive despite environmental challenges. Sweezel sociability plays a significant role in their gameplay dynamics. Their peaceful nature makes them less likely to engage in conflict with players or other creatures unless provoked. This trait not only enriches player interactions, but also allows for unique strategies when navigating through challenging environments like Boltectos. Ibungle. The Ibungle is a notable creature within the Spore creatures universe, characterized by its aggressive and territorial nature. This high attack value indicates that Ibungles are formidable opponents in combat. While not as robust defensively, this allows them to withstand some damage. This moderate social score suggests that while they may interact with others, their territoriality often overshadows cooperative behavior. A balanced metabolism score means they can sustain themselves well in their harsh environment. Ibungles are blind, relying on other senses to navigate and defend their territory. These stats imply that they do not have energy regeneration or critical hit capabilities. The Ibungle is classified as an omnivore, allowing it to consume a variety of food sources available in its environment. This adaptability can be advantageous for survival in the lava-filled habitat of Boltectos. This ability enables Ibungles to restore health, making them more resilient during encounters. The stunning ability is particularly interesting. It creates a visual effect of yellow stars that can incapacitate opponents temporarily while allowing them some mobility. This strategic advantage can be utilized effectively in combat situations. Ibungles inhabit Boltectos, a treacherous environment filled with lava. The extreme heat and hazardous conditions make it essential for creatures here to be aggressive and protective of their territory, contributing to the Ibungle's territorial behavior. Described as quick to anger, Ibungles exhibit aggressive behavior towards intruders in their territory. They employ various tactics to mark their domain and will go to great lengths to defend it from perceived threats. Gorgue. The Gorgue is an intriguing example of a creature designed for survival in extreme environments, specifically in the lava-filled region of Boltectos on the planet Topti. Its attributes suggest a specialization that enhances its predatory capabilities while adapting to a challenging habitat. While not exceptionally high, this value indicates that the Gorgue can hold its own against other creatures. A robust defense score allows it to withstand attacks from predators or rivals, crucial for survival in a hostile environment. This value suggests that the Gorgue can deal significant damage during critical hits, making it a dangerous opponent despite its average attack score. This relatively high social score may indicate that Gorgues exhibit some form of social interaction or hierarchy, possibly influencing their hunting techniques or mating behaviors. A higher metabolism rate suggests that Gorgues require a substantial amount of energy to sustain their activities, which is consistent with their carnivorous diet. As carnivores, they rely on hunting other creatures, which necessitates effective predation strategies. This unique adaptation allows them to thrive in extreme heat, providing access to food sources and reducing competition with other species that cannot tolerate such conditions. This low sight score implies that the Gorgue may rely more on other senses or environmental cues for hunting rather than keen eyesight, aligning with its stealthy hunting techniques. The absence of energy refresh might indicate that Gorgues do not regain energy quickly and must carefully manage their hunting and activity levels. The Gorgues' behavioral adaptations are particularly noteworthy. The construction of elaborate webs near hot springs or lava flows demonstrates a sophisticated approach to predation. By utilizing the heat from these environments, they can immobilize prey effectively, a strategy reminiscent of real-world arachnids like certain spider species that build webs in warm areas to attract insects. Their ability to blend into rocky landscapes further enhances their ambush predator status. This camouflage strategy is vital for stalking prey without detection, allowing them to capitalize on their surroundings to secure food.